What's going on, beautiful people? I'm going to check my audio from my phone and make sure everything's coming through clearly. Um, and then we'll be getting started shortly. Just going to test my audio. If you can hear me, feel free to drop a comment in the chat. I checked my audio on my phone and everything's coming through clearly. Let me turn my AC off. All right. Welcome, everyone. Hey, sister. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the day. Welcome to Doe for Degrees Community Scholarship Chat for today. My name is Danielle Jeffers, and I am your host on this beautiful Sunday, October 13th, 2019. Oh my goodness, we're in the fourth quarter, y'all, and a couple more months left in 2019 before we kick off 2020. Remember, it's not about how you start the race, it's about how you finish. And so we're going to finish strong on this front. TMH, peace. I hope everything's going well. Same to my sister, peace. I hope all is well. This has been a fantastic week so far. I have so many great things to share with you all, so many new updates. But we're definitely going to dig into the topic at hand. Last Sunday, Doodle Vision, that's his name on YouTube, he suggested that we talk about credit cards versus scholarships. And so I have a couple of notes here of things I'm going to dig into today. And I'm not going to dig too deep. I'm going to keep it surface level. I'm just going to give you enough to help you think about the topic, help you think about the difference between credit cards and scholarships, and especially for students, help you to make the best decision you can make in regards to choosing between the two or choosing how you use both of them to help you further and progress toward a degree, hopefully a debt-free degree. And so, as always, if you have a question or a comment that you want to leave, feel free to drop it in the chat. If I am talking about the credit cards and scholarships topic and it doesn't exactly align or it doesn't relate to that in that moment, I'm going to come back to it after we finish that segment of today's community scholarship chat. For those of you who are new, this is a 30-minute conversation that I do every single Sunday from 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I take any questions the public, and when I say the public, I mean the world, because you know YouTube is open to the whole world. They have about scholarships, how they work, how to get through college. Anyone from anywhere can ask any question they have in mind, and I just do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. Before I get started, I am going to drop the link to Doe for Degrees website in the chat, so you all have that. Feel free to take a look at that if you want to understand more about what Doe for Degrees is. Doe for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where I teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. I graduated debt-free from Virginia Tech in May of this year, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. And so in addition to that, I'm going to drop the contact link. If you have a question, you ever want to talk to me, you can book an appointment through my calendar that's on my website, and we can have a conversation there. There's one free option on there right now. Then there are two paid options. Just conversation about scholarships. We also offer products and services that are tailored toward helping a student go to college and graduate debt-free, and those are on my site as well. And so you can just check out the site and learn basically all about me and about Doe for Degrees and what we're doing to help students and families. And so, as always, feel free to drop a comment or question, but I'm going to jump right into the topic at hand. That's credit cards versus scholarships. And so this topic is so interesting when you talk about students who are in college or who are pursuing a college degree, because it affects them directly. You may be aware, you may not, the credit card companies target students in college and encourage them to get a credit card. And most students don't even understand the true impact of a credit card. And so I find it so interesting, and I was thinking about this the whole week, since I was going back to last week's YouTube, watch some of that content, and I was just thinking about the topic, and I was thinking about how it's marketed to students. And it hit me, this credit cards are marketed to students almost the exact same way college is marketed to a student. I want you to look at it this way. When they talk about college, when I went on college tours between my 6th grade year in middle school and up until the time I graduated from high school, every time I went on a college tour, the main thing they emphasized was the ability to explore. Like, we have this many clubs and organizations. We do this every week. We have this football game. This person came to our commencement. It was a speaker. This, boom, boom, boom. There was a conversation about my experience that dominated the conversation about me, about that college, and me learning about that college was what my potential experience could look like. But what wasn't a large part of the conversation was how my experience would impact me financially. And so when it came to asking questions about scholarships and how do I pay for college, I was often directed toward the financial aid office or the office of scholarships or the bursar, the person who manages each student's finances, each student's budget. I was directed there instead of that being a, I think it's poignant, that could be the wrong word, part of the conversation. Now, I'm not saying these students who are giving me these tours and these university officials neglected to emphasize the fact that the education costs this much per year, this much per semester, and these are some funding options available. But I'm saying in terms of my in terms of my experience during that college tour, 75% of that conversation was dominated by the fact of what my potential experience could look like and what kind of value the college could provide to me. But what I want students to be aware of and take into consideration is that when you go to college, you're investing in your education, you're investing in yourself, and trust and believe you want a return on your investment. Now, when you go to college, there are 4 different ways you can pay for college. And if you watch any of my content on YouTube, you watch any of my lives, then you know I talk about the 4 forms of financial aid: work study, loans, scholarships, and grants. Those are 4 different ways you can pay for college: work study, loans, scholarships, and grants. And of those 4 ways, only one has to be repaid, and that's student loans. And that's the one most people take. And so I thought about this and I aligned that with the way they talk about credit cards. When students, and I was not a victim of this, like I experienced this too when I was in college. Credit card companies would try to advertise to me and they say, hey, you know, you have this credit card, you won't have to worry about that tab when you go out with your friends this weekend. You can just swipe your credit card and pay for it. You sign up for the credit card today, you get a free t-shirt. You sign up for the credit card today, you get free pizza. We'll give you a whole pizza for free. You sign up for the credit card today, you can go on vacation on spring break and not have to worry about anything. My experience, the experience of using my credit card and the freedom that I could have when I decided to enroll to receive that credit card was marketed to me more than the effects it could have to me in my future. So what I want you to think about is, students, the things that are shine so brightly in front of you, 9 times out of 10 are the things that can hurt you the most. Because what they prey on, and I'm being straight up, what they prey on is you being naive to the effects of your decisions. You being naive to how things can weigh on you and how they can impact your future. Now, I've heard stories of students who go to college, they take out student loans, and they realize they don't have enough money to feed themselves, especially those who live off campus, who don't live on campus. They don't have enough money to feed themselves every week. They don't have enough money to pay their rent. They don't have enough money to pay for unexpected expenses. So what do? They either go get a credit card or they take out another student loan and they use that money to pay for the expenses. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to be, holier than thou and saying, no, you shouldn't do that because that's not right. Boom, boom. No, it's not the best financial decisions, but I also understand when you have to make a tough decision and you got to do what you got to do to make sure you can survive to the next day. Like, you need to eat. And I understand everyone comes from different circumstances and situations. So everyone's situation may not be perfect, but if you're making that decision, I want you to try to put yourself back on the right track as soon as possible. And so let's dig into it. So I'm going to distinguish the difference between credit cards and scholarships first, and then I'll dig into a little bit more. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop them in the chat. We're going until 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I'll see you all with new content throughout the week. And I will also send you next Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. All right, so credit cards. I already mentioned that it's similar to a loan, but a credit card, and this is how I define it. I didn't look up a definition, but it's money given to you by someone else to use it to pay for an expense. Point blank, period. It's money given, it's money that you borrow from someone else to use to pay for an expense. Now, in that simple format, the key word out of everything I said was borrow. You borrow. It is not your money. No one is giving you free money when you sign up for a credit card. It is not your money. You have to pay it back, and you have to pay it back with interest. Wow. What does that sound like? A student loan. They give you a student loan. You borrowed the money to go to school and you have to pay it back. You have to pay it back with interest. Same thing with a credit card. But the thing about it is some students, and because I know this for a fact, I know this to be true, but hey, you've experienced something different, feel free to tell me. Students who come from poverty-stricken environments or who have a poverty mindset are more likely to sign up for a credit card than those who don't. And when you borrow money, I stress this point right now, cash is king. Like when you have your own money, you have cash, you can move and do what you want to do, how you want to do it. But when you need money from someone else, trust and believe, they're going to get the best ROI, return on their investment. So if they're giving you money to borrow, you need to check the interest rate. You need to check the terms and conditions of that opportunity to borrow that money. You need to check the stipulations for you doing this and you doing that. And so with credit cards, you have an annual percentage rate or APR, but it also affects your credit score, which is basically a number that will impact your ability to get, receive, or apply for other things in the future. So for instance, most of y'all know, because I talked about it in my content before, I graduated from Virginia Tech in May of this year. I moved to Woodbridge, Virginia, and I got an apartment. Now, there were a couple of things that I got an apartment and I got a car. Boom. For me to get those two things, I had to have some things in order financially. My credit score needed to be at a good point. I needed to show a history of being able to manage my money well through my income or other things like that. So boom, boom, boom. With that being said, your decision to take out a credit card, and if you misuse it, can impact your ability to get a car or apartment or things in the future. And what a lot of students don't know, and I know we're talking about credit cards versus scholarships, but I'm always going to go back to the factor at hand, which is loans. I've talked to several parents, especially in the last week, who went to school. They went for their bachelor's degree, they went for their master's degree, they went for their PhD, and they took out a bunch of student loans. And they took out so many student loans. I said they took out $100,000 in student loans. And over an 18, and let's say they had a child. So let's fast forward 20 years. 20 years from the time they graduated from college and they had $100,000 in student loan debt. That loan, if they didn't pay that off, or if they went into forbearance or they deferred on their loans or what have you, that loan amount they borrowed, that increased because of all the interest. So let's say it's 20 years later and their child is getting ready to go to college, right? Their child is getting ready to go to college. And once again, they don't have cash. Cash is king. They don't have the cash to pay for their child to go to college. So what happens? The cycle continues. Now their student is getting ready to take out a student loan. But don't you know, if you are going to co-sign for your student, or this hypothetical situation, if that parent is going to co-sign for that student to take out the student loan, they're going to look at that parent's student loan history, their credit history, all those things, to see if they are a good co-signer, to see if they have proof to show that they know how to manage their money. So it doesn't just affect you, it can affect your future situation. So when you have a credit card, the question I want to ask is, should students have credit cards? This is something that you have autonomy over. You get to make the decision regarding this. My mother was a banker for 20 years, and she talked to me about the importance of money and how money works, and credit cards a little bit. And I saw her with a credit card. I saw both of my parents with a credit card. I saw a lot of my relatives with credit cards. They weren't really went into detail about how much debt they had, or that's kind of a taboo topic when you talk about your money. No one really talked about it, but I would take note of when we would go to the store and they would pull out the black card or the yellow card instead of the red one, instead of the green and white one. Like I saw that, I paid attention. And when it came time for me to decide whether I would take a credit card out, I did my own research. I took a credit card out my sophomore year of high school, and I went to the bank specifically knowing what I wanted. I wanted a credit card for college students because I know the interest rate would be lower. Now, let's jump from there. I'm going to hold off right there, and I'm going to go to scholarships. What are scholarships? Scholarships are a form of financial aid that will help a student go to college and potentially graduate debt-free. You don't have to pay back scholarships. It's very different from credit cards and loans. It's your money, but it's given to a university on your behalf. So when I was winning my scholarships, I won more than $100,000 in scholarships in 5 months as a high school senior. Granted, that money was tied to me. And there's a difference between scholarships that are tied to the student, that follow the student wherever they go, and scholarships that are tied to a university or contingent upon you enrolling in a certain program. There's a difference between the two. But with that being said, Just because I had won $100,000 in scholarships didn't mean that all those scholarships, that money hit my account. That didn't mean I had $100,000 in the bank account at 18 years old. That's not what that meant at all. That meant that that money was mine, but it went to the university on my behalf. And I lost some of those scholarships because I chose to go to Virginia Tech as opposed to Temple or Howard or the other schools that were on my list who had offered me scholarships through my financial aid package. And so, well, what do each of those two categories require? You talk about credit cards. What does a credit card require, and what do scholarships require? Well, scholarships require you to put in the time. They require you to have a commitment to the process to actually see your results, and they require structure and dedication. Like, you can't just apply for scholarships all willy-nilly and think you're going to win. No, you have to have a plan in place, a plan for you to succeed. Because by failing to plan, you are planning to fail. By failing to plan, you're planning to fail. And so what I emphasize is the fact that if you're going to apply for scholarships, make sure you have your ducks in a row, or you're willing to put your ducks in a row. Now, with the credit card, I mentioned before how they advertise it to you. Hey, just sign up over here. We got a free t-shirt for you. We can give you free pizza. Boom, boom, boom. It doesn't take much but your information, but it can hurt you because you borrowed money from someone else. And so why did I take out a credit card my sophomore year of high school when I already had enough scholarships to pay for at least 2 years of college, well, at least a year and a half to 2 years of college? Why did I take out a credit card? Because I looked ahead and said, I'm probably going to graduate from this university. I know I'm going to graduate debt-free because I'm committed to the process. And I'm going to see my results. But at the same time, I know I'm going to want a car and an apartment. And I need to build my credit score up now. That was me doing my own research. No one told me, well, yeah, my sister and Thomas, I went through credit, had a better understanding of credit and FICO scores and all that stuff through them because of the business we do with credit repair. So I had an understanding. That was my introductory lesson in detail about how this process works with credit cards. But I made the decision myself to take one out. And I called my mom and told her. I said, hey, mom, I'm about to take out this credit card. I had already taken it out. I said, I'm going to take out this credit card and it has a limit on it. And I know the interest rate. I'm only going to use it to pay my phone bill and I'm going to pay it right off. So I did it to build up my credit. Now, I was also being an entrepreneur. What's up, Cab? Peace, Cab. I was also engaged in an entrepreneurial experience, and I was doing well managing my credit card for my sophomore, junior year of college. And I'm being completely honest because I know I only tell the truth. But when senior year came and I finished my last semester in college and my business wasn't to the point where it is now, where my sales weren't where they are right now, I needed money. And because I was cash strapped, I didn't have a lot of money. I used my credit card a little bit more, but I knew that I already had a plan in place. I said, okay, if I have to dip in right here, I have a plan to pay it back by this date. And that's December 31st, 2019. So that's personally me. Now with scholarships, y'all know I graduated debt free, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. But because I chose to build my credit between my sophomore and senior years of college, it allowed me to get the things I need to get now, knowing that, yeah, I'm going to be struggling a little bit for a minute, but then I'll bounce back and be able to pay it back. That was my plan. I had a plan in place. I basically I went through all my notes so far. I've gone through all my notes so far. What I will say in terms of mindset, and this is something I want to go into. I said I would stop at 3:20 teaching this lesson today, but it's a mindset. Credit cards and student loans can allow you to engage in a poverty mindset. And I'm going to say this quote. This is a quote I heard from one of my favorite artists, Kevin Gates. He's a rapper. He said, the game is played above the shoulders. The game is played above the shoulders. The game, meaning life. Life is played above the shoulders. It's all about what you do up here. Everything that happens in your life that you can control originates from here. What you think, the decisions you make, your thought process, all of it starts here. So if you can train your mind to manage your money correctly, to think bigger, to go after your dreams, to live by what you produce, to thrive off what you can produce as an entrepreneur, or to do your best in everything you do, or to apply for these scholarships, or to graduate there free, or whatever you train your mind to do, train your mind and your body will follow. And so when you get used to having a few $1,000s at access and you don't discipline yourself to use it correctly, whether that's whether that's credit cards, loans, whatever form of mechanism that you borrowed money, you'll use it and not think about it. But when you train your mind to use things right and you build a financial freedom mindset saying that I'm going to use this money wisely because I know it can hurt me if I don't discipline myself. And I'm going to make the best financial decisions possible because I know I don't want to have to live with debt. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. And I'm going to put as many holes on that part of my life as I can. I'm going to make a commitment to live debt free. You will live a better life because you won't be stressed about paying someone back. Does that make sense? I hope y'all are tracking what I'm saying, but I'm basically saying your decision to engage in either process or your decisions will help you adapt or build the mindset that you will have. And so the reason why I encourage students to apply for scholarships is because it will teach you financial freedom. It will teach you how to budget your money. It'll teach you how to manage your time. It will teach you how to communicate. It will teach you how to pitch yourself. You'll become a better writer. You'll become a better speaker. You'll be a critical thinker because you're going to beat the system. You're going to beat the system. My parents, we didn't have conversations about how much college costs, but it could impact me for the rest of my life. It would have impacted me for the rest of my life if I didn't graduate debt free. And so I say all this to say that I'm here to serve as a resource. If you need to have a conversation, if you want to talk about anything, feel free to use the second link in this tab in the chat box. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And I just want to shed some light on the difference between scholarships and credit cards. So moving forward, what should you do? Definitely apply for scholarships. And if you think a credit card is something you need, weigh it out. Hey, I'll be doing a series before the end of the year on how I make decisions. I call it the CBA, cost benefit analysis. How do I make decisions? So that's something you might want to tune into. But once again, do your own research. I know a lot of students spend a lot of time on social media entertaining themselves, but remember, education over entertainment. Education over entertainment. Entertainment is only going to take you so far. There's very little value in entertainment. Watching people argue on TV, watching TV shows that make you laugh. I'm not telling you not to engage in joyful activities. That's not what I'm telling you. But at the end of the day, if you look at how much time you use in a day educating yourself on something or entertaining yourself, you'll see it the next day. Like, you'll see the fruit of your labor. If you spent time studying how credit cards work, or if you spent time watching a football game and procrastinating doing your homework or something, you'll see it. So as always, y'all know we have a little bit more time. It's 3:20, so I was on the hit the nail on the head with my time today. Any questions y'all have, feel free to drop them in the comment or the chat box. I would love some feedback on how this went. Was it disorganized? Was it unorganized? Or could I have done better? What can I do to improve? I just want to shed some light on the difference between the two. Feel free to drop a thought in the chat box to help me progress and be better. While I wait for questions and comments to come in, I will say this. I will say that I dropped quite a bunch of content this week. I caught up on some videos I had in my pocket for September. I spoke at a couple places in September, so I released that content. I posted a testimonial this week, and I did post the Habits of Scholarship winners for this month, October 2019, for high school and college students. So go back and watch that to see what you need to do this month to ensure your scholarship success. I gave 3 tips last month in September, and I gave 3 tips this month for October for each demographic, for high school students and college students. And so you definitely want to check out that content. In addition to that, what else is going on? This upcoming week, I'll be posting some more videos, things that help you. Y'all know the FAFSA open, the free application for federal student aid opened on October 1st, 2019. And so what I'll say about that is that the FAFSA helps the federal government determine how much your family can contribute to the cost of your education. And so with that number, it will determine whether you qualify for need-based aid or need-based and merit-based aid. And those are the 2 different categories of financial aid, specifically scholarships. Need-based aid is based on your household income, demonstrating your financial need. For instance, when I was in high school, my parents were forced to retire from their respective jobs because of their health issues. And so that forced them to depend on money offered from the federal government, like disability and things like that, to have money in the household. And so I had a financial need. I needed money to go to college because our household income wasn't as high as it was before. And it definitely wasn't as high as some of the incomes that are around me. I live in Northern Virginia now. I'm originally from South Central Virginia. And so I had a financial need. I needed money. But at the same time, I also qualified for merit-based aid because I had a 4.1 GPA. I had more than 200 hours of community service. And I had a talent, which was skill, a gift, which is my ability to speak to audiences all around the world. And I had done that through my Boys and Girls Club. And so my talents and my skills and my effort, dedication in the classroom, in addition to my financial need, helped me win those scholarships. And so I understand a lot of parents get stuck and ask the question, well, why should I complete the FAFSA if I already know my kid's not going to get any money? I understand that, but please complete it anyway, because a lot of scholarships require you to present that information to just submit the application. They will ask for proof of submission of your FAFSA, and what they're asking for is your SAR, your student aid report, which is basically a summary of your FAFSA. And so I know if you already know you're not going to win any money, you think it's a waste of time, but please don't allow that mindset to stop you from getting money. I've applied for merit-based scholarships that ask for my FAFSA. I've applied for need-based scholarships that have as well. And so just make sure you get that done and knock that out, whether you are planning to win need-based aid or not. In addition to that, I think right now it's October. I know it's October 13th, 2019. One of the most important things you can do for especially graduating high school seniors who plan to go to college is begin to narrow down your list, your college, the list of schools that you're looking at, and make sure that you choose the one that's right for you. And so I am going to drop a link in the chat. I did create a short ebook called Choose the Right College, 9 Steps to Identify Your College, that will help you as a student identify which college is best for you. I was on the verge of picking a college, aka Duke University, because of the name of the college. I actually thought about going to Duke because of the name, but it didn't even have my program. And I was interested in communication. My intended major when I was a high school senior was communication. Duke did not have a communication program. And my mom said, you know what? I don't know why you're applying for this school and you know it doesn't have your program. I said, Mom, it's Duke. Like, imagine me going to Duke. She was like, okay, well, if that's why you're applying for it, then you pay for the application fee. And I applied and paid for it. And that's the one school I got denied to. So it wasn't for me. So I want you to take into consideration what you want out of your college experience, not what someone else wants out of your college experience for you, not what someone tells you what they think you should do. As a student, I want you to take responsibility and choose the right college for you. And for me, the number one factor on my list in choosing colleges was the cost. At 17 years old, I said I refuse to go to college and graduate debt free. And graduate with debt, because it's going to impact me the rest of my life. And so if if the major or the program that you want to study is most important to you, then take that into consideration and make sure you rank your colleges accordingly. But begin to narrow down that process, and also choose which way you're going to apply for the college: early action, early decision, or regular decision. And y'all can go online to learn more about that. But it's about your commitment. If you choose, I think it's early decision, then if you get accepted to that college, you have to go to that college. And I had to go back to research the other two, but hey, just know the deadlines are coming up. So that's something to think about and take into consideration. I don't see any questions or comments, but we do have a few more minutes left. What I'll also say is I'm proud to support our partner, Auchtoctones Assembly. Check out Ain't TV. Dough for Degrees on Ain't TV. You all, and it's Auchtoctones Assembly. Auchtoctones Assembly is a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up American indigenous voices to make sure that they know who they are and they're educated, the resources they can access to help them succeed and help their communities. And so I'm going to drop the link to Auchtoctones Assembly's website. They have a morning show every single weekday. That's right, Monday through Friday. What's up, Do Division? What's up? Hey. They have a Cab Grand Rising show every single rising Monday through Friday. It starts at 8 a.m. and I think it's scheduled to end at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but sometimes it goes a little bit over time, but the conversation is really good. I've learned so much from that rising show to help me with my business through HUD Section 3, learning how I can help my community. Please check that out. In addition to that, don't forget to check out the In My Bag Tour. That's Dough for Degrees philanthropic work, what we do to help our community. I partner with two great friends of mine, Kevin Stevenson and Corey Hacker Green, who are the co-founders of No More Interviews, LLC, a company that inspires aspiring entrepreneurs, especially minorities, to chase their dreams and be entrepreneurs. And together we gave more than 500 book bags and 200 teacher appreciation gifts between my hometown of Danville, Virginia, and Corey's hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania during this summer, 2019 in August. We did that. And so I'm going to drop the link to that website as well. I'll also drop the Instagram page for No More Interviews. You all can check out their site. And so there's a lot of things going on with Dough for Degrees. if you notice, I provide my scholarship tips on our YouTube channel, but I also provide updates about the company. And so I really try my best to document the work of Dope for Degrees through this YouTube channel, document my journey in life, document as much as possible through this YouTube channel. And so let me pull up this link. Y'all can follow No More Interviews on Instagram. And then Kevin and Corey, they're on that page as well if you want to learn more about them. But that's basically all I have for you all. As always, feel free to drop a comment, a thought in the chat. You have my information. You can contact me, schedule a conversation. And I will see y'all next Sunday, live again at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you throughout this upcoming week with more content of videos and knowledge to help you earn scholarships to graduate debt-free. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.